Las Concorla, as this is my first time to speak in the House, I want to express my sincere gratitude to the people of Dublin West who have given me the honour of representing them. I will work every day to show them it was the right decision. My supporters who showed up for me day in and day out, and my family. Daddy, who is watching this from his armchair in heaven, surrounded by newspapers. My mum, the most tolerant politician's wife and now politician's mother in the world, and my husband and daughters who are quickly following in their footsteps. Minister, 262 childcare services in Fingal have signed up to core funding this year. And as of the 13th of January, 37% of those services had applied for a fee adjustment if they were charging below the county average and struggling with increased operating costs. 17% had been approved for a fee increase and 34 decisions remained outstanding. So at least 45 services have already increased their fees across Fingal, which of course has been passed on to hundreds of parents who bought into and benefited from the increase in subsidies under the National Childcare Scheme last year, who felt a reduction in their household bills in September, only to see it or a portion of it wiped out. The numbers in the Dublin City area are similar. Approximately 17% of core funding services will see an adjustment, so 17% of families will see an increase of some sort in fees. And both of these administrative areas are relevant to the people I represent in Dublin West. Will the new Minister for Children, Norma Foley, now correct this flawed approach and make good on the pledge to further reduce childcare fees for all parents, as per the new programme for government's commitment to review and increase core funding? I welcome the government's commitment to review and increase core funding. At this point, I believe it is essential for the sustainability of the sector. The cost of staffing, for example, has increased significantly since the 2019 fee freeze. Pay scales will continue to grow, I hope, and a number of providers' fees predated 2019. Not every childcare provider is the same, especially those who have scale and shared resources on their side, so I appreciate the approach must be dynamic. I'll also take the opportunity to welcome the commitment to reduce the administrative burden on providers. Our childcare providers should be doing what they do best, which is educating and caring for our children, not spending most of their time as auditors of national schemes. Our local childcare services require adequate funding to stand still and to grow, and parents should be able to access affordable fees. The work of that review must start today based on the increases these parents are currently experiencing. One parent told me her fees have gone up €80 per month since September and it will increase again. Another said the additional cost this month is €250 as the creche is backdating fees, and it will be an additional €140 monthly going forward. Other families are fearful of impending decisions and want clarity from the government. I think we need further analysis of the range of adjustments to understand the impact on parents and assist them through this process, because there is confusion and we need to understand it. I've seen the correspondence shared with parents in relation to fee increases. I would say reassurance from the Department that an increase in childcare subsidies will mitigate against fee increases instead of reducing overall household bills is very different and not what our stated objective was. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Minister.
Thank you. First of all, I would like to congratulate you on a personal level, Deputy Currie, on your election to Dublin West. I know how passionate and how hard-working you are, and it's great to see you rewarded and sitting here in Dáil Éireann today. And indeed, I know your family are very proud, and particularly your father, I know, will be hugely proud of what you have achieved and look forward to working with you. I will, first of all, at the outset, I'm taking this question on behalf of Minister Norma Foley, and I will be raising the issues that you've raised directly with the Minister, which I know is very important for us as a government, and we look forward to working with you. I'd firstly like to thank Deputy Currie for raising this really important issue and for offering me the opportunity to respond. I know from your time representing the people of the constituency of Dublin West in the Shannon and now here in the Dáil that the cost of childcare is one that you've been raising consistently and one that you're very passionate about. And by way of background, core funding represents a significant increase in income for services and allowed for the introduction of the fee management system in line with the recommendations of the expert group in the Partnership for Public Good report. So the first step of introducing fee management was to limit increases in fee rates, which in year 1 and 2 was effectively a fee freeze, where providers could not increase the fees charged from September 2021. Core funding has allowed for substantial increases in the total cost base for the sector, related both to pay and non-pay costs, thereby creating the conditions for this. This effective fee freeze, which ensured the increases to the National Childcare Scheme Universal Subsidy in 2023, were fully felt by parents in corresponding reductions in out-of-pocket costs. In recognition of the notable difference in fees charged across the sector, and that some services may have been operating with a fee that was not sufficient to sustain the business, even with increased state investment through core funding, a fee increase assessment process was introduced in year 3 of the programme. The fee increase assessment process balanced the need of parents for stability with their early learning and childcare costs and the need for providers to operate viable businesses in order to provide this public goods service for their community. The fee increase application process opened last year on the 31st of July. Only services charging fees below the average in their county were eligible to apply. There was an assessment to ensure that there was a demonstrable need for a fee increase before approval was granted. And where a demonstrable need for increase of fees was confirmed, the resulting increase did not exceed 74 cents per hour, and the maximum weekly increase was €33.30, which was equivalent to the increase in the National Childcare Subsidy from September 2024. For example, a place offering 45 hours was eligible for a maximum increase of €33.30, while a place offering 20 hours was eligible for a maximum increase of €14.80. The process closed for applications on the 29th of November. Only services charging low fees, that being fees below the average in their county, were eligible to apply. For example, if a service offered 5 fee options, the one that fell below the county average and one fell below the county average, only the one fee below the county average was eligible to enter into the assessment process. So the onus was on the provider to demonstrate a need for the fee increase. Where parents may be seeing an increase in their fees as a result of this process, those in receipt of the universal subsidy, for example, will not see an increase in out-of-pocket costs compared to this time last year because of this maximum increase allowable under the process. For parents on the universal subsidy using the full hours offered, fees are not increasing beyond the level charged in September 2022, and when core funding was introduced, these parents will have been paying some of the lowest fees in the country. As well as the fee increase process, a cap on fees was introduced for services joining core funding for the first time in the 3rd year, and a fee cap will apply to all services in core funding from September 2025, and the change will improve affordability for parents as very high fees will be reduced.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Minister. And look, thank you for taking this on behalf of Minister Foley today. I believe I understand the parameters by which the fee adjustment has been operated. But I still do feel that there is a difference between using those subsidies to mitigate against fee increases and reducing the impact on individual families and their real costs for childcare. A 25% reduction in childcare fees in your household budget in 2023 was meaningful, but 50% last September was very significant. And I feel that we should still honour that. And I think that we should examine that in advance of the more transformative, or along with the more transformative reforms that we have in the programme for government. I don't think that we should leave those 17% of families behind in terms of the full scope of subsidies and the impact on their household budgets that would provide. And just also to say that for the purposes of today, I am focused on the need to review and increase it initially. And we have stated the commitment to work in partnership with private providers, most of whom are women and whose life's work are local services that families truly value and depend on. But we do also need to go beyond our near total reliance on private providers, so all communities have access to services, developing a system of forward planning and the delivery of appropriate childcare infrastructure capable of meeting demand. But for now, childcare services need to be funded fairly in order to be viable operations, and parents need the most affordable fees that we can provide.
Thank you, Deputy Currie, and your passion for this issue is really clear throughout your contributions here this morning and previously. And as I say, I will be relaying the points that you've raised here to Minister Norma Foley, who has responsibility for this area. The introduction of core funding in 2022 brought a significant increase in investment for the sector, 259 million of funding paid directly to services in year one of the scheme, of which 210.8 million was entirely new funding. Core funding is now worth €331 million in its third year of operation. The increases implemented from September last year facilitate increases in the base rate for all age groups. The strengthening of targeted measures, which were introduced in 2023 to support sessional and smaller services and growth in the sector. Fee management was introduced with the substantial investment of core funding following the recommendations of the expert group in the Partnership for Public Good report. And for your information, Deputy Currie, a total of 1,147 services submitted applications to the fee increase assessment team in 2024. As of the 5th of February this year, a total of 1,098 decisions have been issued to eligible services. Additionally, of the 1,147 applicants, a total of 811 have been approved to increase at least one fee, which equates to a success rate of 73.86%. Parents and guardians and their children can only avail of the benefits and protections that core funding creates, such as the effective fee freeze at 2021 levels if their service has chosen to participate in the scheme as a partner service. And it's a matter for providers to decide whether they wish to withdraw from the core funding scheme, the significant financial supports it provides to providers and the certainty it provides to parents through the associated fee management measures. However, Minister Foley is confident that given the level of investment and associated supports, services should not need to take this step. And while a provider may withdraw from core funding, they remain eligible in the programme year to provide the National Childcare Scheme, the Early Childhood Care and Education Programme and the Community Childcare Subvention Plus Saver Programme.
Minister. And call on our second topic